misinterpret life when the lights are off and the path is unclear. What do I mean by this? Well, imagine being in a dark room, sitting by yourself in pitch black, having no idea what's around you. Every direction is uncertain. It'd certainly be a troubling feeling, fear-inducing. But what it doesn't mean is the content within the room is insufficient for what you need. It doesn't mean that you need to go somewhere else to find your answers or that you failed. It means that you simply have to turn on the light. What you need is right next to you, you just are not seeing it. And that is the point.
Even in the darkness, a single flame can illuminate you to a world of possibilities. So let's ignite that torch of knowledge and journey down this road time has forgotten together. Love, light, and the paranormal, hosted by Reverend J, starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Love, Light, and Paranormal. I'm your host, Reverend J, and joining us this week is going to be a special guest. So we have another great show lined up for you. Now, like always, you never know what is going to be mentioned, discussed, or even said. So kick back, relax, get comfortable, and forget about the crazy events that are going on in the world for at least 1 hour this week. Please feel free to log in and comment in the KCOR chat room, or better yet, give us a call and ask your question and make your statement live on air. The number can be found right on the KCOR website. We love and encourage audience participation. Remember, if you like and enjoy the show, you're welcome to donate on the KCOR website. Your donations would be greatly appreciated and helpful, as all of us hosts on KCOR cover the cost of our own shows. Last but not least, make sure if you missed any shows that you visit kcorradio.com and check out the archives. This will give you an opportunity to catch up on past shows and listen at your convenience. Now, a little bit about our guest for today. He created the Hoosiers Investigating New Ghost Society, otherwise known as Things, in order to help clients who are fearful of their or in their homes or businesses. He also created Things Network that includes teams around the world for the purpose of not only getting help to clients around the world, but also bringing teams together and work on pushing the paranormal to a whole new level of understanding and ways of finding the truth. He has also created a podcast called The 13th Dimension with Scott Wilson, along with Tim and Crystal Kohler. The podcast searches for deep truth in the paranormal in ways that had never been sought out before. He likes to think outside the box, come up with new ways of doing things, and trying out different ideas, and hopes to one day leave his mark on the paranormal field. Let's all welcome Jeremy York. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hello.
Can you tell everybody how you kind of started in the paranormal field?
Well, it actually kind of started by chance. Back in 2006 or 7, I just happened to be walking in the electronics department at Walmart, and I seen this DVD for sale called Ghost Hunters, and I thought it was just a regular show or a movie or something. So I got it and started watching it. I realized, okay, this is something different here. And that's what kind of sparked my interest. So I watched it and did a little bit of researching, and after a couple of years decided to start up my own team.
Okay, so you jumped right into it. You started your own team. You didn't jump on anybody else's team, right? You just went on your own.
because honestly, I had no idea that there were many other teams out there.
Right.
After
it wasn't
I
talked
started
about. Yeah,
the team,
you're right. You know.
Yeah. After I started the team, I started doing a little more research, and I was like, oh my, there's a whole lot of teams out there.
Yeah, and it's amazing now compared to, like you said, 10 years ago. Now you can't go anywhere without seeing a team.
I know.
Being promoted or, popping up someplace versus,
right.
10 years ago when you had no idea where to go.
Exactly.
But so you jumped right in, you started your own team. How did that, was it disappointing seeing that you kind of watched the show and saw how it was done? Because I know some people feel like it's a disappointment when you actually go do the investigation. It's not like the TV show, it's an hour, it's over, you got all this stuff and you see happen within an hour, and then you go to the investigation and it takes you 8 hours to get one little piece of evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, actually, no, it was not a disappointment. It was more of an eye opener because once we started doing it, I started realizing how much more there actually is into doing the work than what you do see on TV.
Yes, and you got to have the passion for it, which I know you do. That's why I wanted to have you answer that, because I know you got the passion for it. You're pushing a lot of things right now. I know you're bouncing out in the world, and when you started things, I'm gonna mention things especially because when you started things, did you have any idea where it was going to go?
None whatsoever. I had some ideas as far as what I wanted to do, but what we're doing right now, none of it was anywhere in the thinking process.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because things has jumped. As far as numbers wise, it's gone through the roof, and especially the amount of members and different groups that belong that have jumped onto things. Yeah,
the worldwide page is our social media interactive page, and we just started that. Oh boy, a year and a half ago. And in that amount of time, we now have over, I think we're pushing on 5,100 members now.
Well, that's crazy. Especially that's in this field, to get people working together like that. Was that your purpose? Was it Para-Unity, or what was your first thought on why to do the world?
Well, so a couple years ago, I had brought on Tim and Chris Kummer. The original plan was that they were going to be like a sister team to my own team up here in Fort Wayne. They were based down in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And after, I don't know, 3 or 4 investigations, we decided, you know what? We want to investigate together. Let's just be one big team. And I was talking to Tim. I had already just rolled out the Things Network, which is about bringing teams together and working together to try to help the field and push it to the next level. So we had an idea of creating the Facebook group page, and Tim went on ahead and did that. But it was kind of slow for a little while. But then after we did an investigation at Waverly and we started doing these the live videos through that page, then everything just took off, and it has not stopped since.
Well, it's pretty amazing the amount of people that coming from different aspects of the paranormal are jumping onto that, because Para-Unity is one of those things that. A lot of people don't like the term because they think that it's not real. There's no way to get it or to work with it. They all say,
right.
A lot of them say, no, it's not true. But there are a lot of teams that do believe in Para-Unity and working together. And and I noticed that on things. So when you started investigating, you went from, being the amateur investigator to now running this, I want to say it's quite an operation now, because you've got different things going on. It really is
pretty much become its own brand.
Yeah, it really has. And so what were some of your plans? When you first started investigating, what kind of places did you investigate? Did you do just the Waverly Hills, or did you do like residentials also, or what did you do at the beginning?
When I first started doing it, so I created things back in October 2009, but I didn't actually do my first investigation until April of 2011. And that was when I went over to Nevada for a national bowling tournament.
Okay.
And in that time, I had been doing some research in Nevada and had discovered Virginia City and Gold Hill and seeing some of the haunted hotels there. So I started staying over there when I would go over there for my tournament.
Okay.
And it was just me, because at the time there was no actual team, because when I started things, there was me and 3 other guys, but we just could not get our work schedules to mesh.
Yes, that's a hard thing to do.
It was very hard. That was a real eye opener for me. So they all just kind of backed out, did their own thing. I decided I was going to keep on pushing with things, but I wasn't really sure how to do that. So I was just doing my own thing. So whenever I would go to Nevada, I would go to whatever haunted hotel I could stay at, do my own little investigation there, test things out. And then on my trip, on one of the trips back, I decided to take a little side trip down to Colorado and actually stayed at the Stanley Hotel one night.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and I got extremely lucky on that one, because I ended up with the very last room that they had available.
Oh.
Yeah, it was almost like it was meant to be. And
Right.
I'll tell you what, Stanley Hotel is a beautiful place. It really is. Not just the building itself, but the entire estate.
Did you happen to get any experiences while you were there?
I heard, when I was inside my room, I heard children outside, and I would look out there and there's nothing there. That would be about the closest thing that I had to an experience out there.
Yeah. Now, you stayed at the rest of them. You talked about staying on hotels. I guess I want to know, what's did you ever have something happen that you just made you think, why am I doing this?
No, as far as making me second guess being in the field, none whatsoever. Every time something has happened that I couldn't explain, it makes me want to do more of it, because I want to be able to explain the unexplainable.
Right. Yeah. So I was curious, because a lot of people, they have that certain thing that happens, and they kind of go, wow, do I really want to tackle this? I mean, you never really know what you're getting into. And
Exactly.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand when they come into a team, that, it's not going to be, it's like I said, it's not going to be the TV show environment. It's not going to be the stuff happening all the time. But if something does happen, a lot of times they don't know how to handle it. And so what did you do to get your team to the point where, you're respected, you handle things a certain way? Was it just purely by investigating and trying different things, or was it learning from somebody else?
I got lucky, because everybody that's on almost everybody that's on the team were already experienced before they got onto the team.
Oh, okay.
There were a couple people who had never done anything, and we would sit down and talk with them. Okay, this is what you've seen on TV. This is how it is. And once we got them to understand that, then we really haven't had any issues with somebody wanting to run out or get out. We have had some issues where you need to remove yourself from a location for a little bit, but then come back in.
That is important. That's an important topic.
Yes.
And I know you had that on your show the other night, because I was listening. In case people didn't, catch it, Jeremy has a podcast, 13th Dimensions, 13th Dimension, I believe it's called. Yeah, and I did catch that the other night about new investigators, or any investigator being smart enough to walk out of a situation that they don't know how to handle, or if they're overwhelmed. I thought that was impressive, especially the young girl that you had on. She was smart enough to remove herself when she needed to. And so on that topic, what do you take for precautions? Do you have a belief system as far as like, do you do a blessing, or do you, prayer or something before you go into an investigation, to get your head straight and be protected?
For myself personally, no. I don't follow any religion, to be honest.
Okay.
But I'm not atheist.
Okay.
It's more, if I had to put a title to it, it would be more agnostic.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't even subscribe to that. It's just I go into a location, and my purpose is to try to disprove whatever's going on.
Right. Okay.
But
All
at
right.
the same time, my feeling is, if I do like a protection thing or prayer, then my thinking is that it's going to block me off from if there really is something there.
Yep.
And
okay.
if I did something like that, then it's going to keep me from being able to experience whatever the client is experiencing.
Okay. That's fair enough.
So I want to be able to back
that.
up what they're doing and validate their claims.
No, I understand your take on that.
Mm-hmm.
How about the rest of your team? Why don't you tell us a little bit about like who's on the team, kind of what they do? They're in the background, so we really need to bring them out and let people know, what they got going on.
Yeah, so we got over 20 members of the actual investigation team.
That's
there's Tim Comer. He's one of the guys that runs the worldwide page. He's about the same way that I am. He doesn't do anything as far as doing prayers or vigils before going into. He wants to go in and debunk what he can, and it's yes. Frank Smith, he's one of the lead investigation investigators. Okay. I can't even talk right now. Frank Smith is one of the lead investigators of our team, and he does do a prayer. He is highly religious. He believes in the prayer of Saint Michael, and I have the most absolute respect for him for that. So he does that, goes into the cases, and he does what he does. Ricky Howard is also another guy who runs the worldwide page. I think he does the blessings as well.
Okay, so you do have different variety of opinions.
We have people of all different beliefs and opinions on the team, and we work so well together because we respect the other person's beliefs.
That's a hard thing to find, Jeremy.
It is.
To be honest with you, I'm sure you've seen it. The paranormal squabbles, I call them, that you see on I see it all social media. And like I said, I know you are so big on the pair unity. So when you say you got 20 members of the team, 21 members of the team, are they spread out into different areas?
We are. If you were to take the driving distance between the southernmost person in Indiana and the northernmost person in Indiana, it's about a 4-hour drive.
Okay.
And what I really like about that is that if we have somebody in Indiana that calls for help, then most likely we're going to have somebody who can be there in a half hour.
So is that the only area you cover is Indiana, or do you
no, we try to go everywhere.
Okay.
Like, for example, I had just gotten done with what's been dubbed the Paranormal Tour. I've gone to New York and did 3 investigations over there. I went to Nevada and did 2 investigations over there. And during that time, Ricky was in Pennsylvania doing some investigations around the Gettysburg area. And Tim had gone down to Kentucky to do investigations there.
So you guys
we've also
comfortable splitting up and doing your own thing.
Basically. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes. We love to investigate together, but we also realize that we can't always get together at one particular time.
No, that's important to know because a lot of teams won't take an investigation because they can't all work together, which limits them so much.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to do a
that's another reason
schedule,
why we have such a large team.
yeah. So that's good. So you got enough people that no matter what, you could have it covered.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's great. You know, having the team that big, how much do you communicate with each other about what's going on and your findings? And, you know, do they go to investigation? Do they call you for help or, you know, or guidance or?
Well,
you know
we try to communicate as much as possible. We have a little group chat that we do, and there's almost always something going on every day. And whenever one of us gets a case, then we will either go into that group chat or we will go into our group page, the one that is set up just for the team members, and say, okay, we have a case in this city. This is how big the place is. We only need X amount of team members. Who's available to go?
Okay.
And more times within a couple of hours, we'll have that number of investigators set up to go.
Okay. That sounds like you got a good system there because, you know, you got some people to lean on that can actually, you know, take the job. When you got 21 people, you shouldn't have a problem getting a team together. Although
Exactly.
although I'm going to say I did belong to a team that had 20 members and we couldn't get anybody to go at times. So I have seen it the other way.
It's a rarity that happens for us.
Well, there was a reason behind it. You know, at the time I didn't know the reason, but I do now. But you know, it just shows how much you guys put into what you do to make that work and to keep pushing things forward because things, like I said, is growing, and it's one of those social media is all over things. Things Paranormal is huge on social media, and it's a great place to go to get information and see stuff that's going on because you know, there's nothing like it. And we're coming up on a minute to break, so we're at the half-hour point. You know, we've talked a little bit about the basic things, and when we get back, I want to jump into Para-Unity, and I want to talk to you about your music because there's some things you've done for Para-Unity that's amazing. So when we come back, we're gonna pick it up. We're gonna pick it up on that, and you know, it'll be interesting. You're listening to Love, Light, and the Paranormal on KCOR Radio, and we'll be right back after this.
Just want to assure you that everything is under control. There's been no damage except for some temporary malfunction of the radio.
You're listening to Love, Light, and the Paranormal. Pushing back the darkness of the abyss with enlightened, intelligent talk. To join us on the journey, call 702-425-9230.
Let's go to the phones.
That's 702-425-9230. Find us worldwide on Skype at KCOR Radio or interact live in our chat room at kcorradio.com.
Hey, are we done here? Because I'm losing my buzz.
Back with the master of paranormal provocative talk, Reverend J. After this.
Gee, it's so quiet. Too quiet. Terribly quiet. Awfully quiet.
Do you have an hour to kill? Well, crank up those EVPs, spirit boxes, and walk the haunted halls of the unknown with UK's very own paranormal investigator, David Cook.
You guys ready for this?
The Ghostly Hour, live Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern.
And now, your live.
Come hear first-hand accounts of some of the most famous ghost sightings, photos, and videos from around the world. Skeptics, believers, and spirits both good and bad. Welcome. The Ghostly Hour, hosted by David Cook. Live every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Great.
It's great. I think it's great. I think it's
The all-new KCOR Digital Radio Network.
great.
Make a note of it.
It's great.
Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, come discover the universal core to all your issues by tapping into the unseen world, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. From the metaphysical, simultaneous realities, alchemy, as well as the ascension process, the hosts of the unseen world will take you on a roller coaster ride through the metaphysical matrix. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. The Unseen World, live Tuesdays 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Come awaken to an endless world of possibilities.
Are you ready? Ready to go inside the Matrix? Inside the Matrix.
You see, whoever controls technology controls the world.
Then tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, as your host, Jimmy Brent, takes you deep inside the holographic Matrix.
Carefully designed to stimulate the mind.
Come explore a world of topics from technology, archaeology, spirituality, and so much more. Inside the Matrix will liberate you from the manipulated, parasitic entities of consciousness.
You guys ready for this?
It's time to claim your true natures as creative, divine beings inside the Matrix. Hosted by Jimmy Brent.
Who are we talking about?
Jimmy Brent. Live Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Inside the Matrix. Investigating and analyzing the experience of life. 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 Life.
Are you ready to go?
It's showtime!
Here we go, world. You're listening to the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Broadcasting from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Their base is so large it has to draw most of its power from the nearby nuclear fusion plant.
The future of radio is here and now.
All opinions valued and respected here. Welcome back to Love, Light, and the Paranormal.
Hello? Anybody here?
To ask a question live, call 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
They're only going to call us when they need money.
Worldwide callers, use Skype name KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR or inspire others in our live chat room at KCORradio.com.
I see incredible potential here.
It's time to continue down this road less traveled with the host of Love, Light, and the Paranormal, Reverend J.
Welcome back to Love, Light, and the Paranormal. I'm Reverend J, and today we're talking with Jeremy York. We've been discussing a lot of things paranormal, and one of the biggest things that has hit the paranormal community lately is Jeremy's desire to create Parunity, and doing that, he created a music video. Jeremy, what was your first thoughts about creating the video? Were you scared about it, thinking that this couldn't happen, or were you really optimistic, thinking, yeah, I'm going to get some people to do this?
I was pretty optimistic. I rarely get scared of anything, to be honest. So the only problem was getting people to actually participate, because when I would give them this idea, they'd be like, what? Yeah. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to do something like this? I'm thinking, if you just think about the vision and what it could actually do for the field, it just might work out. I spent 3 months working on this thing. From the very beginning to actually coming up, fine-tuning this idea to actually putting it out on YouTube and on Facebook, it was about a 3-month process.
It's after you see it, I want to say, from my point of view, if you don't feel Parunity after seeing this, there's something wrong. Because the amount of teams, the words to the song, the way the music was done, it it all brings it together. And if you can't, if you're one of them people that stand there and go, "This isn't for me," then I don't think you really feel Para Unity at all. Because if you can pass this one up, something's wrong. I really think you did like a smash, an awesome job at it.
Thank you.
And I'd like to have you let the audience know where could they see the video.
They can see it on YouTube. If they look up "We Are the World Para Unity," it'll pop right up there on top. I've also got it on the Things Worldwide group page in the announcements.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure I got it on my personal page, but it's probably buried way down. But the main place to look for it would be on YouTube, and that is if you do the search "We Are the World Para Unity." Otherwise, you're not going to be able to find it.
So you do have a pretty good presence on YouTube then.
Not so much. See, I've got 2 YouTube channels, one for the team, and I'm actually very, very behind on putting videos up there because I've got, 200 videos that we made, not just myself, but Tim, Ricky, Frank, Chris, a whole bunch of our team members have made that I've got in my file on the computer. I just haven't been able to take the time and put it up on YouTube. And then I also have another channel that is for the 13th Dimension podcast. And I do have all the videos up for that one.
Okay.
Except for this past Friday's show.
All right, let's talk about that for a minute. What got you set off in the direction to start the 13th Dimension, the podcast?
Okay, a year and a half ago, Scott Wilson, he's been one of my dearest buddies for over 10 years. He sent me a message asking me about a radio show that he thought that I had done. I was like, no, I never did a radio show. I never done a podcast, never done anything like that. And he's like, oh, well, I thought you did. Nope, you probably were thinking about somebody else. And yeah, I know. And that conversation just kind of sparked an idea. It's like, well, would you like to do one with me at some point? Yeah, sure. And we had been having meetings all this time up until about 2 months ago before we finally really got it going about what we wanted to do, how we want to try to set ourselves apart from other podcasts, because if you notice, a lot of the podcasts out there, they do about the same thing.
Yes.
And we wanted to be different from that. So we're going to be covering not only all the different aspects of the paranormal and not just hauntings, but cryptozoology, ancient mysteries, aliens, all of that. But we're also going to be digging in deep into our topics instead of asking the guests, what's your favorite location you've been to? What bucket list location you have? What's your favorite equipment? Honestly, I get tired of that.
No,
and as it turns out, Scott did too.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I think everybody thinks that, they're going to be interested in that, because a lot of people do. They jump on the bandwagon, the equipment wise, because there's such an amount of garbage out there that's put out as equipment. So I think that's one of the biggest problems. They're trying to figure out, hey, what's this guy use, and what's it, is it decent? Because there's so much that you spend your money on that's not worth a nickel.
Right, exactly. And we are going to be doing a show about that specifically at some point in time. It's just that, like right now, some of the topics that we've already covered. What is it like for new people to break into the field, and what you can do to get into the field the right way?
Yeah, I like that topic. That's a very good topic.
And the first show that we did, and the first show that we did was how important it is to actually come to a resolution with residential cases. Because a lot of teams, they just like to go in there, do their investigation,
stir it up,
and then and then they will say, "Well, we caught this orb here, we caught that shadow there," yeah, we think it's haunted.
Yeah. Bye. See you
And
later.
that's it.
Yeah.
Right. And then we're gonna have another show. I think it's towards the end of November. I'm not sure the exact date. Where one of our clients, he is a big music person,
Okay.
and we're going to be talking about music and how it affects the paranormal.
Oh, that'll be an interesting show.
It will be, yeah.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to that.
You got
I'm
some
looking
great-
forward to all of our shows.
You got some great topics coming up. Now, your partner, Scott, what kind of background does he have? Is he similar to you? Is he an investigator, or, for people that don't know?
Yeah, he's an investigator. He's actually one of the many that started out with a team and then eventually worked his way up into creating his own team. And then he eventually retired for a while. He was done with the field. He got burnt out and everything. And over the years, I would talk to him. I was like, hey, you know what? I know what you've done. I want you on my team. He's like, yeah, well, I'm not quite ready yet. And then after we started talking about this whole podcast, that's when the spark started hitting him again. And now he's come back. He's out of retirement. He's doing investigations again. In fact, we're going to be doing an investigation with the podcast team in about a month over in the Chicago area. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. That's a good thing to do. I mean, especially for your podcast, to actually get out and do it. I wish I could right now, I tell you. I so wish I could at this point. Once you get the fever for it, it doesn't go away. Right. When you two came together and you decided to do this, was it tough picking the avenue that you chose? You choose to do social media and do a podcast versus something like I'm doing. Was it hard to make that choice?
No, it was actually a very mutual choice that we didn't know that the other person had as well.
Okay.
Because I was thinking, okay, we'll do this thing on Facebook, because even now I don't really know how to go about trying to get an actual radio show.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can understand that, and you already got a presence on Facebook, so I can understand why you go with.
And I'm actually liking how we're doing it now, because we can actually see the other person, which I think is a huge benefit for the shows that we're doing, and it allows the audience to see the other person, how they react, and to see us as well and how we react.
Okay. No, I was curious. I mean, because there's so many different platforms. It's so hard to, when you're first starting out, trying to figure out which one to go with, what do you want to do, what direction you want to go to, what's your favorite, your favorite, style, because everybody's got a different style. And then having two guys come together that never worked together before to do it, and to pick something, and it took right off. I mean, I want to say, you've got some great numbers out there. I've seen them.
Yeah, I'm still baffled by those numbers. I'm like, how are we getting these numbers?
You've got it. Like I said, your presence on Facebook, you picked the right platform, I think, because of that. I think once, you could definitely do something else, but I think the way you started it there, people knowing you and knowing things, and they knew it was going to be something great, I believe.
It could very well be. I'm just thankful that people are tuning in and watching what we're doing. I really am, and just makes me want to do it even more.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you. Kind of jump back a little bit here. We were talking about, residential, and we mentioned religion. So when you went to a residential house, we were just talking about this, and teams, you've seen teams go in and they'll get what they can get out of them. Some teams just want the story. Some teams want to put on a live performance, on Facebook, and then they leave these poor people. And were either as bad as they were, or sometimes even worse than they were before they got there. What's your team's approach on that?
Okay, so what we want to do is not only are we talking to the client, but we're also digging into the history of the house. So we got a couple of researchers that are looking at the history of the house, trying to figure out who also had lived there in the past, what had happened on the property itself in the past, and try to tie all of that in with what the client is experiencing. And sometimes it actually adds up. It's like, well, okay, from what you're saying you're seeing or what you're hearing, here's what we found out about the past. And they'd be like, really? That makes sense. That explains a lot of what's been going on. And we want to see the resolution of the house. We are not going to be coming in there, dilly-dallying around, do the investigation, come back, and then say, well, we caught this orb, we caught this shadow. I don't like orbs. And I will not present an orb to a client.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah. That's where a lot of the drama comes from, orbs. But I digress.
That's true.
So, and based off of what we present to the client, we let them decide, okay, what do you want that next step to be?
Okay.
Do you want us to try to get rid of what you got, or do you want to just coexist? Because there's a lot of people out there that want to coexist with whatever they got in their house.
Yeah, as long as it's not, it's just not something that's scaring the hell out of them or causing mischief, usually. But that's the thing too. That's the other side of it you don't see. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because usually only people will talk about, oh, this house was demonic, or this house was, a poltergeist, and
right.
Because they want, but there are a lot of times these hauntings aren't bad. They're not gonna freak you out if you know what's going on.
Right.
And I think
I actually recently had somebody contact me about the different activities they got in their house. And they first said, I've got a demon in my house. I need help. Okay, what's going on there? And they start describing what's going on. As, okay, that is not a demon. I can tell you that right now. That is not a demon. And a lot of times what's really going on in the house is that they might have some sort of an electrical problem going on, or they got some sort of a carbon monoxide leak. It's very small, but it's affecting them enough to where they think they're seeing stuff, or they think they're hearing stuff. And that's another thing that we're coming in, because we're helping them to figure out what is going on so that they can finally live in peace. Rather, it is, okay, yeah, you do have something here. How do you want us to fix this? And if the resolution is something beyond what we can do, then we will find somebody who can come in and do that.
Okay. Now, when you said beyond the resolution that you could do, what do you guys have your own person that will handle it if they want?
Our own what?
If the client wants you to handle it, your group to handle getting rid of whatever spirit or, whatever haunting is going on, do you have somebody in the team that will handle it personally, or do you step outside the team for that?
We do have a couple teams, a couple members that can come in and do like blessings and go around with holy water and basically try to use the Bible to drive whatever's out there. But if it's something that requires more than that, then that's where I'll go outside the team and find somebody who is experienced in that neighborhood.
Okay.
To work that problem.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because, when you mentioned the team and you mentioned how many people, and I know we get into a little bit about what some of them did, but there's so many.
Right.
I was curious. I was curious to see.
Yeah, we do have experience in a lot of things, but there are certain aspects that we are not experienced. Like we can't handle exorcisms. Like if there's an actual demonic presence, we are not equipped to handle that. but I know people who are.
Yes. Okay. All right. I understand that. No, you know your limits.
Yes.
Which is very important. A lot of people, you know, I really think they can handle anything, and then they get themselves into trouble. But you know, that's one thing I definitely like to see, though, because you know the last thing I want to do is see a client's home get turned into a live show, and some people turn them into books.
That is something we absolutely will not do. We do not do live videos when we're doing a residential, because we have the utmost respect for the client's privacy.
Now, see, I've been with a group.
We absolutely will not put them out on Facebook.
It's well, that, you know, that's the difference between a true investigator and a investigator looking for you know, numbers. You know,
right. Yeah. Me, I don't care about numbers.
No, it's important that you don't.
Right.
You see, you're more true
now,
to yourself.
when I see numbers for the podcast, I am humbled by that. But when it comes to doing live feeds for investigations, okay, if we're doing Waverly Hills, yeah, we'll do live feeds there, because it's an open public location. When we're doing a residential, we do not want to put them out on Facebook, because if there are people that recognize them, then they may think, oh, well, that's a crazy house right there.
Yeah.
And we're not going to put them, through that.
No, that's another important thing not to do. And I know, because I've been on the other side of it. I've seen it with the first team I was on that would do that.
Right.
Didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with it, but I wasn't the leader of the team at the time. So it wasn't like, you know, it was my team and I could just change something.
Right. No, we have actual protocols in place. Now, we will take video at a residential, but that video is only for us and for the client. It is not something that we're going to put out there on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, this show has gone so fast. We're looking at 5 minutes to the close of the show, and you know, it's amazing. You know, what other, do you have anything, events coming up, Jeremy, that you'd like to talk about? Because you're involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, do you have any plans?
Yeah, we actually do not have any events. We are talking about some events for 2021, but as far as public events, we're pretty much done for the year, because now it's going to start getting cold. And we toyed around with a second meet and greet in November. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? It's starting to get cold. The location that we already have in mind, it does not have power in most of the place. So people that would come to meet us, they're going to be cold out there at night. It's going to be miserable. I'm like, let's just wait until spring, summertime, where it's warmer and people can actually enjoy doing the investigation instead of shivering.
Yeah,
but I do have... Yeah, but I do have something that I am working on. It's like a paranormal para-unity roundtable discussion type thing that is actually going to be called the Global Paranormal Society, which is yet another thing that I'm creating. And what it is that I have scoured the field for the best and the brightest minds. And I feel like I got those people. And the first meeting that we had, we all want to be able to do something that's different. Yeah. And we're actually going to be having a meeting in 3 hours, talking about things that we have done in the past that we can use now that may help the field. Because we're all tired of doing the same thing over and over and over. We want to experiment and do something that will actually get results.
Oh, that's great.
So basically, it's going to be like a new way of thinking, a new way of investigating, a new way of getting results.
Yeah, and with a roundtable, you know, bringing in that many people, you put some heads together, and it should be interesting to see what you guys come up with. Because there's a lot of stuff that was done in the past that I know people used to use, and they stopped using it. You know, so there's a lot of things that can be done that doesn't get done anymore, or there's a lot of ways to change what does get done. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
so you got that
and
coming up.
with the kind of people that I've got, see, I don't just pick people at random. I'm actually watching what they're doing, hearing what they're saying, and I do a lot of work in the background. So I personally don't have a prominent presence on Facebook. Not like what Tim does or Ricky does. They are out there a lot more than I am. I like to do behind the scenes stuff.
So where could they find you then? We got like 2 minutes, so really quick, where could people find you?
Yeah. Okay. You can find me on Things Paranormal Worldwide, the group page. You can also find me on Facebook, Jeremy E. York. That's my personal profile. If you want to come and stalk me, whatever, I'm okay with that. Send me a friend request. Go for it. You can also find my personal website, which is jeremyyork.com, but that's for music only. And I've also got a website set up for things, which is thingsghostsociety.com. And we're everywhere. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and everything is linked through the website.
Well, that's great. That's great. I mean,
yes.
Here we go. I mean, we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you so much for coming on, Jeremy. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Don't forget to visit Jeremy online and find out what he's got going on, because he's always got something happening. Remember, Love, Light, and the Paranormal will be back next week, same time here on KCOI Radio. Next week, I've got a little treat for you next week. You're going to have to wait and see, because it's going to be an interesting guest. So make sure you tune in. Don't forget to visit the KCOI website and check out the Love, Light, and Paranormal show page. All my links are right there if you need to contact me. I'll chat with you next week. Stay safe, stay sane, and stay positive. I'm Reverend J. Peace, everyone.
This has been Love, Light, and the Paranormal. From the light to the dark and back again, we shall travel it together. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. For more information on the show and host Reverend J, please visit his show page on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Love, Light, and the Paranormal. Your doorway to the world of the unknown is just a click away. Will you be ready for it?
This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.